are back with another week of In the Bonus, episode 6 already. Can you believe it? We have Isis Young, Kim Adams, Lisa Carlin, and myself, Meghan Caffrey, joining you guys tonight, and we are so excited. We have a lot to talk about this week, and first and foremost, we do have to give some love to the Big East player and freshman of the week. Freshman of the week coming out of Creighton, it's Brittany Harshaw. She had a career-high 14 points against Northern Iowa on Sunday. Let's go, girl. And then the Big East player of the week comes from Villanova. Lucy Olsen is having herself quite the season. She reached the 30-point mark in 2 games this weekend. She has just been lights out for the Wildcats early on in the season, and it's been really, really fun to watch.
No, it's been great to watch Lucy Olsen. I just remember when we talked to her on the pod and she mentioned how the whole from Maddie Siegrist and what was going to happen at Villanova. And she was very much like, no, it's just like the next man up mentality. And she's just stepping up and she's just feeling herself. The fact that she was so calm, cool about it and not like, I don't know, I feel this pressure to do all of this. Like she's just feeling it and flowing.
She's just having fun doing it, which is something that I love. And I think it goes back. I remember talking to Denise Dillon about her last season even. And she was like, yeah, Lucy just has this lax personality, right? She's just like, oh yeah, it kind of happens.
And it's her slogan. Yeah. Basketball is fun tonight? Is literally her slogan. Because she said it, maybe it was in your interview with her after a game. Like all of her captions are basketball is fun.
The epitome of basketball is fun.
I think she already has
that on a t-shirt for her. We're gonna have so many t-shirts.
This is literally her brand. Also, I was so shocked by a Creighton freshman winning freshman of the week because Creighton already has so much upperclassman talent, and I'm like, wait, there's another scorer people have to worry about now. That was a shocker.
All over the floor. Ice. What's exciting you the most about in women's basketball right now?
Honestly, I'm going to say 3 Big East teams in the AP poll is what is exciting me right now. The Big East is in there and representing. UConn is in at number 17. Marquette, them Golden Eagles are soaring. I told y'all, Meg told y'all, Lisa obviously told y'all, and Kim already knew. And then we've got Creighton back at number 22, a place in a spot where I think they deserve. I think this team is going to finally stay and solidify themselves in the top 25. For Marquette right now, 8-0, and they're looking very strong. They're looking very connected. They're looking very good. McKenzie Hare is literally hair on fire right now. And as a shooter, I love to see it. And then UConn, still a team that's 4-3 right now. It has been a tough start to the season for them. But this team is learning and growing, and they're going through adversity right now. And the non-conference is when you want to be going through that. So I think we have a lot to celebrate in terms of across the Big East. And I think some of these teams are really solidifying themselves as teams that you got to be aware of across the country. So I'm really excited about that, Meg.
I know McKenzie Hare is exciting you, Lisa.
Yes. Guys, how can she not be exciting anyone? When you watch her, you're just electrified, as Ice mentioned, like hair on fire. You're electrified watching her because when she gets the ball, you're like, it's probably going to go in no matter what happens. This is a player that is coming off of her best week of shooting in her career. And it's a young career. She's only a sophomore at Marquette, but I think that says a lot. And you shouldn't be surprised by this because as a freshman last year with the Golden Eagles, she led the team in their 3-pointers made. So this week with McKenzie Hare, she averaged 18 points in both games for Marquette against Memphis and against Penn. We'll get to that matchup a little later. But now McKenzie Hare is number 1 in shooting percentage in the country at 59.3%. She's number 3 in 3-pointers per game. It's impressive the fact that she's able to do this at such a high rate and also incredibly consistently because although this was her best week shooting from behind from 3. She was 10 of 12. It's the second week this season that she's hit 10 3-pointers in over 2 games or over 2 game span. So it's consistent, and it's from a really young player. And the fact that a sophomore is leading the country in scoring right now, like, are you
3-point percentage
like,
is what you meant.
3-point percentage. I'm sorry. Yes, 3-point percentage. I mean, at one point. But the fact that, like, opposition's going to find different ways to slow her down and to control her game. And the fact that she's so young, she's going to be able to pick apart different ways and try new things. She's not afraid to try new things when she's on the court. I think because she is young and only a sophomore, she's got a little bit more freedom when she has the ball with her.
I will tag on one more. I was going to say she's an early front runner for Big East Most Improved Player, because if you look at year to year, you said she was leading them in threes last year, Lisa, which is true. When you see the growth from last year to this year is pretty mind-blowing. She made about 1.5 per game last year, but she only shot 31%. So she's almost doubled her efficiency this season, going from 1.5 makes at 31% to now 4 makes a game at 59%, leading the country. As you said, I originally thought like Lucy Olsen Most Improved, which I thought she could have gotten last year. Lucy Olsen now in the Big East Player of the Year conversation for sure. But McKenzie Hare, an early Most Improved player, somebody to watch out for.
I like that shout.
Yeah. Well, and I'm interested on your takes as well, guys, of when you look at the success she's having, also just coming from her upperclassmen teammates really believing in her and having the confidence in her. How much for you as former players, Kim and Ice, when you were that underclassman who your upperclassmen know you're talented and they're kind of giving you the green light, how much does that give you confidence to continue to, have the type of success that she's already having?
Oh, I think it's everything. I think knowing that other people are depending on you to do your job is the biggest thing that you can ask for as a young player. And I think literally, Lisa, I think why she's being so successful is because she's doing her job. Like she knows her job is to be connected defensively with the team, because that's everyone's shared job, and offensively to knock down open shots when she gets the opportunity. And she is doing a fantastic job at doing her job. And sometimes that is the luxury of being a young player, is you don't have all the responsibilities. You're not the Jordan King who I have to score, I have to assist, I have to defend the best player. You don't have a ton of responsibilities. You've got to do your job. And I think she's doing a great job.
I'll quickly add, Meg, I've seen it from the opposite side, because I've been a young player who had older teammates that didn't really support freshman, sophomore. Like they didn't think we deserved to be on the court. That's a novel for another day. But I think it's a testament to the program that Megan Duffy has built, that this Golden Eagles team, they don't care who's scoring. They're 8-0. They're worried about wins. They're worried about rankings. They're worried about winning a Big East championship. And whosever night it is, it really doesn't seem like it matters to them. They're sharing the ball. They're excited for each other. So it's really a testament to the whole culture of the program, I think.
They're all part of the PWC, Powerful Woman Club.
Oh, love that.
We love it. Kim, what are you jazzed up? Look at me with these words. What is jazzing you up with women's hoops?
We've talked
right
a
now?
fair amount about the couple of teams at the top. Obviously, Marquette continues to be a big headline. Creighton, UConn, and their ups and downs. But I'm looking at a couple teams that have traditionally the last couple years been in, I would say, the lower tier, the bottom third of the Big East. And we've got a couple surprises this year. I'm most notably right now looking at the Butler Bulldogs and the Georgetown Hoyas. I know we talked some Hoyas last week with the great guest of Kelsey Ransom, but both of those teams had big Big Ten road wins on Sunday. Butler went into Wisconsin and won. They're now 6-2. Georgetown went to Chicago at Northwestern. That game was not even close, 82-58. They are now 7-1. So I went back the last couple of years. Georgetown was 8th in the Big East last year, 9th 2 years ago. Butler was 9th last season and 11th with just one win, just 2 seasons ago, the year before Coach Parkinson took over. Just a couple of things that are standing out to me about those teams. Georgetown, Ice mentioned it last week. the defense. They are currently third in the nation, allowing just 47 points per game. Like, that is unbelievable.
Ooh,
But what it
that's
also impressed
big.
me was, so they put up 82 points at Northwestern. That wasn't just the first time they hit 80. That was the first time they were 70 or above. So some offense is starting to come together too. They had 5 players in double figures. They hit 23 of 28 from the free throw line. And then the big stat with me for Butler is this is a potentially to be a lights out shooting team from behind the arc. They're currently making about 9 threes per game, which is second in the Big East. So those two teams, it's elevating the profile of the league when you see Big East teams going on the road and beating Big Ten teams. So those two teams are my story. I'm going to add a quick sub headline talking about teams that are catching us off guard a little bit. We can't forget about the Seton Hall Pirates. They have a couple of losses, but the first edition of the net ranking came out today. They are the 5th Big East team, but they are 47. So the Big East has 5 teams in the top 50. So it's the 3 ranked teams, Villanova, and then Seton Hall. They nearly had a wild win over at Princeton just last week, took them to double overtime. They ultimately fell, but Princeton was ranked at the time. Seton Hall pushing them like that is a part of the reason why Princeton is out of the rankings today. But Micah Gray, a transfer, I believe it was twice. I think she hit the tying 3 to send it to overtime. And I think she hit another tying 3 to send it to double overtime. So Pirates are looking good. I think their chemistry is coming together well. Wow. And they're certainly a team to look out for in the Big East this season.
Yeah, and it's been exciting to see Amari Wright also for Seton Hall. She really, I think, is stepping into this leadership role also, which has been fun to see in the early bits of the season. And going back to your point, though, Kim, with when you do look at both Georgetown and Butler with the success they're having, I think Georgetown, you can't not credit the fact that they're having this amongst a season that has a lot of weight behind it. It's heavy with having lost their head coach. And then with Butler, I mean, we have to tip our caps to what our Austin Parkinson has been able to do, is doing, and will continue to do at Butler. I think that's the exciting part when you think of what is going on with the Bulldogs right now. This is year 2. And to think of where it's going to go, it's exactly what Austin had said when he came into the program of his goals that he had for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it was cool for him to be able to see the vision of like the team and the program and the players that were already there, and then to be able to recruit. Like, think of the players that he brought in to this program and said, hey, we're not there yet, but you're going to help us get there, and laying out that vision to them to get them to come to that program.
Mm-hmm. We just have to shout out our girl, Kelsey Ransom, because she also scored 1,000 points in that win versus Northwestern. So I just want to say congratulations, Kelsey.
And another former guest, Jordan, hit 1,500. Is it like Kelsey, you come on in the bonus and you start hitting these milestones? Could be a science.
I don't know. I think we're the good luck charm. But since Ice brought up Kelsey, we've got to get, because what everyone was waiting for. It's so funny. I tweeted during the game at Marquette. And Marquette was just like, why does this game matter to you guys? And I was like, are you guys not listening to the full podcast? We had a bet on Marquette and Penn going up. And, I think the Golden Eagles came away successful on this one. So
they sure did, Megan. They sure did.
Sure did. Big win.
I was more confident
Big
in
win for Marquette.
I mean, I knew it wasn't. I knew I would be losing this bet.
I like your honesty. You're realistic about things.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I didn't want Marquette to lose for the Big East pride. Like, right. I didn't want them to drop out of the rankings. I didn't want them to lose the game. I lost the bet, but
yeah. Well, but for the sake of the bet, we had to do it this way, Kim, as a Penn alum and as a Marquette alum, and Marquette steamrolled.
So I'm gonna fill our listeners in who, if they missed last week's episode, everybody here, let me get you caught up to speed real quick. Okay. We have Kim, who is a Penn alum, Lisa, who is a Marquette alum, and Marquette and Penn went up and at 'em against each other. When we were interviewing our friend Kelsey Ransom from Georgetown last weekend. She told us that she had an interesting favorite ice cream mixture. Okay. And so we decided, I thought it would be good. I was like game to try it. And we had some hot takes from some of the other panelists on In the Bonus that it wasn't going to be the best mixture of ice cream. So we said whoever loses, in this Penn and Marquette matchup, the loser has to eat the ice cream. So drum roll, please, because Kim lost. Kim, show everybody the ice cream the flavor ice cream that you have to eat.
It's really impossible to try to find banana ice cream. I was patrolling the ice cream aisle. This was the only one I could find from Wegman.
There we go.
Banana appealing.
I didn't even understand what that meant. Banana peeling, naturally flavored banana ice cream with marshmallow swirls, fudge ribbons, and peanut butter cups. The last couple of items are like what I would get, but I do not like banana. Like I don't eat bananas. So the thought of banana ice cream was just not appealing to me.
So we're Ransom loves it.
We're going to do a taste test.
Do it for Kelsey.
Okay.
First bite live on In the Bonus. Here Kim goes.
Oh,
Kim has been play-by-play, Meg.
The whole thing. I think it just touched the first taste bud. It just touched one taste bud.
I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. I thought I would really taste the peanut butter cups and the swirly fudge. It's just straight bananas.
No. I think maybe
let me try
it with a little
this
more.
This one has a little Reese's cup in it or peanut butter cup.
Yeah. I don't think you're giving it
a little better
benefit of the doubt.
So
first reaction was
banana taste.
Pretty bad.
You shouldn't have fruit in ice cream. You shouldn't have it.
Okay, so for the record, Kelsey's ice cream order that she got at Cold Stone when she went with the team was banana with coffee ice cream.
Yeah,
so banana ice cream and coffee ice cream mixed together, I believe, with marshmallows. So I would argue that is a little crazier than just like bananas and chocolate and
that's
crazy.
Fair. And maybe Cold Stone, if you guys are listening this podcast on one of our many platforms that you can be watching or listening to us, maybe you should sponsor our podcast so that we can do it the right way. True. And get a Cold Stone with them on the mix.
The stones.
This is how bad the ice cream was. You know when you like there's just times when you have a craving for something sweet and you just go through the cabinets and like whatever's in there, you're cool with eating it. I would not touch this. No. I would not touch this. I would just not eat anything that night.
Your craving must not be that bad. Like if I'm craving something,
I would just
sweet,
pick out the little Reese's cups in there.
It could
that's how I would do it. 0.5 out of 10 rating on banana ice cream. I'm sorry, Kelsey, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, Kelsey. And Meg, I feel like you guys might.
And I'm glad that you did it. You were a true trooper with this one, Kim. Well done.
That was bad.
I think I'm going to go to the little ice cream parlor and actually try and do the real thing. Because I'm like really intrigued about this. I really am.
I took one for the team.
But thanks, Kim. Our first of many. I think we need to have. This was just our first of many food bets, like of weird
bets in general too. Like we could wear something. We could.
That's good. But I like a live reaction of food. Something about food just gets me. Maybe it's because I'm hungry most of the time we're doing this podcast. I don't know. Maybe we've already started to incorporate food into Kim's rapid fire during our interviews. So let's get to it. Let's hear Rachel Kent's In the Bonus rapid fire. We talked to the Butler Bulldog. Here's Rachel Kent. Coming off her best game of the season, scoring 25 points in the Dogs' win over Wisconsin. Rachel, thank you so much for joining In the Bonus tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Let's kind of just start right there. Your game against Wisconsin, your team beats them on the road. Kind of take us into that game and what it was like playing.
I think we were really excited for our first road game. We're like, we got to get a win. We were excited to play Wisconsin. I know we have a lot of people on our team that are from there, So they're like kind of a rivalry going on with them. But no, I think we had a lot of preparation. We had a lot of confidence in ourselves before we went into the game. So I think that played into it. And, I think we played defense. That was our key for the whole week, playing defense. Number 25, a lot of respect to her. She's a great post player, but we tried to key in on her. We tried to stop their other top players. And I think we just had a really good flow as a team. I think we came in there and, we did our job in the first half of the game. We still got to play another half. And I think, I just tried to be aggressive, try to help my team, and, everyone did really well.
This was a big win for Butler, and because, winning 6 of your last 7, you guys have dominated at home, but this was your first road win of the season. And frankly, you made it look pretty easy, I've got to say, against this Wisconsin side. So how difficult is it to go on the road and pick up a big win like that?
You try to have a different mindset when you go into road games. The refs aren't going to be on your side. You're going to have fans against you, but none of that really matters at the end of the day. So we try to stay within ourselves. We just try to cheer each other on as a team, to encourage each other and be there for each other. And I think that's what matters on the road, because the game had a lot of ups and downs. We were up and then they started catching back up and they went on a run. So getting that first road win was really just about sticking together as a team.
Well, I love that you mentioned the team first, because you're a captain on this team. And we remember talking to Coach Parkinson during media day, and kind of he was telling us, well, she's a grad transfer and she just got into our program, but her leadership qualities and the way in which this group listens to her is different and it's needed. And I know you're familiar with Coach. You obviously played for him at IUPUI, and then now you're back with him for a grad year. But how has your transition been getting to this team, playing for him again, different system, maybe different players, and then also emerging to be that leader and a captain for this team?
I would say it's hard, but, the girls are great. So it's been kind of a pretty smooth transition. I know Coach and kind of his system and what he expects out of players, and he expects a lot. It's just short of perfection. So I know a lot of us get on ourselves or a little hard on ourselves. So I just try to be there for the younger players, whether it's on the court, just encouraging them when Coach is yelling or getting on them for different things. But I think I lead by example, and that's kind of how I do it most of the time. Coach will always joke, like, we don't talk as much as we should on the court. But of course, on defense and stuff like that, when we need to talk, we're there. But I think it's been a good transition, and definitely going into that role of just trying to be there for everyone when things are tough, or especially like you mentioned on the road, just being someone who can calm everyone down.
Rachel, I know this is your first year at Butler as a grad transfer, but this has been a massive turnaround by Coach Parkinson very quickly. I believe last year he increased the total wins by 10 from the year when he took over. And this year you guys are already 6-2. So it looks like that's even going to increase this season. What do you think has allowed this successful start of the season to come together at this point?
I think the biggest thing, which we kind of went over in the summer and just really honed in on, was being process focused. So we knew, going in, even to our first game, that not all the pieces of the puzzle were there. But we knew that we had to build on that. And after a loss, you can make a decision to either just stay as you are and just ask questions like, oh, why didn't we win? But we tried to keep growing and building on our team. And since we had so many new people and young people, we just kept growing in that aspect and not letting ourselves be complacent. And so just having the process focus of just getting better each practice. We say it all the time, don't just go through the motions in weights. Don't go through the motions in practice. Don't go through the motions when you have to get extra shots up. And so I think that's helped us a lot as we go from game to game. We started with the loss at Iowa State, but I think we got better from there.
Rachel, I love how you talked about Coach's expectations of you and your teammates. I'm curious, what are the expectations that you've set for yourself this season?
I think first and foremost, just being consistent. It was off to a little rocky start, but there's only so much you can do. And I think as long as you're working as hard as possible, that's the first thing. So I think just being consistent for the team. Other expectations is just being a leader and leading the other girls, whether it's through practice or the games. And I think, on the court, I would just say I'm trying to hit that mark of 50% field goal, 40% threes, and 90% free throws. So that's always what I strive for. So yeah.
Love that.
Rachel, I had the pleasure of chatting with you at the Big East Women's Basketball Media Day. And one thing we talked about there is the fact that you entered this year at Butler and you changed your jersey number. You're now rocking number 10. I remember the significance, but I want you to share that again with everyone on the podcast listeners, why you changed your number. And then also, how has it felt wearing a new jersey this year now that you've gotten 7 games under your belt or 8 games under your belt?
I like the new jersey, I'll say. I mean, 22 was my number for years, but I think last year you just have to change it up. New school, new me. No, I'm just kidding. No, so 10, it was for 2 reasons. And the first one is my best friend, Allie Berg, transferred to Loyola, and she wears number 10. That's been her lifelong number. So we wanted to wear each other's number on the court. And then also my fiance's grandpa. He was the all-time leading scorer for Purdue men's basketball, Rick Mount. And so he's number 10 and he's known as like one of the best shooters. Like even if he missed 10 shots, he would just shoot until the game was over, and he had so much confidence in himself and he was a great player. So it was kind of cool that I got to wear 10 to represent him.
Is your fiance also a hooper? Do we have a little
Congratulations.
basketball action?
Come on.
Kind of. He doesn't play in college, but he still plays here and there. And he played in high school, and he knows the game of basketball really well. So he helps train me and stuff and helps me work on my game.
And how's the wedding planning going, really? These are the questions.
It's non-existent because you can only focus on one thing during basketball season, and that's getting wins.
Yeah.
Good answer. I love
that. Rachel, I wanted to ask you, who's a teammate that you've gotten pretty close to just in your short time at Butler that you've really been able to bond with? I think one of the coolest things about being a transfer is going different places and building those relationships and forming different sisterhoods in different places.
I'll say I'm pretty close with a lot of the girls, but someone that's really fun to be around is Caroline Strandy. And I know she was supposed to be on here too, but finals week is crazy. But she's really funny. So she's kind of quiet, but then once you get to know her, she'll like talk about anything and everything. So she's just like funny without trying. So she'll talk about like the stock market, the new basketball shoes. She'll talk about school, drinks, protein, like she'll talk about anything under the sun. And so it's just funny, like getting to know her, and we do ice baths together. We shoot together. So yeah.
That's so fun.
She's probably going to be someone really good at trivia. Like one of
probably.
Those
yeah, she reads all the time.
Rachel, one of the first things I saw about you as we were preparing for Media Day and just catching up on new faces in the league, I saw a quote from Coach Parkinson, and he said you were one of the best shooters that he has ever been around. And we're looking at your numbers here. I know you said you were off, you weren't off to the best start, but now you are really catching fire. You've made 12 threes in the last 3 games. So I'm always curious when I talk to shooters, how do you think you became a great shooter? Like who taught you or did you model your shooting form off of anyone?
There's a lot of people that taught me how to shoot. Okay, so I'll start with in high school, I never shot threes. I hardly shot threes. Mid-range, it was just mid-range. That's all I would ever take. I would pass up a 3 for a mid-range shot. I could always shoot a 3, but I was like, I don't want that. And so
you weren't into analytics and metrics. You were like, a 2 is better than 3 points.
Yeah, it's like higher percentage, right? So that'll just make up for it. But no, when I got to St. Louis, Coach Stone was kind of just like, hey, we don't have a shooter on our team. Like, you're a great shooter. Like, you can do that for us. That would be great for you. And so I was like, sure. So then that's what they needed. So all I did was shoot threes. And so I'd say the person that taught me was my dad. He worked with me for hours, and he didn't let you move back unless your form was perfect. So I was like 2 feet from the basket for probably a year.
Awesome.
But then he just worked with me. And then my high school coach, Coach Kip, he was in the gym with me all summer, after hours in like summer league basketball and summer camp. And he knew how to coach shooting. So he was pretty good at it too.
Is your fiance's grandpa, is he still alive?
Yes. So he's actually taken me shooting and, like pointed out some things to me as we shoot on the gun.
That was what I was going to say. The conversations now, like the Thanksgiving conversation or like the family gathering conversations have got to be good. A little chirping here and there, maybe.
Yeah. He's like, well, he's pretty, he's a little older but he still shoots on the gun. And so he has a shoot away, if anyone knows what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, so he still uses that, and he gets out there and shoots like 100, 200 shots. And so I played him in horse one time.
This is grandpa? Wow, he's goals.
Amazing.
I know. So I played him one time, and I was shooting threes and making them. And then, so he was down like 3 letters. And then he told me that it was unfair I was shooting so far out. So I was like, oh, I don't want to disrespect this man. So I stepped in. Then he started shooting with his left hand, and I lost.
God.
He got you so
He
good.
conned you? He conned you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that is family.
Yep.
Okay, Kim, I think we have to turn it to you for our favorite segment.
Okay, so Rachel, this is our interview we do with all of our guests, or our rapid fire, in the bonus rapid fire. So you have to get 5 fouls to be in the bonus. So we have 5 questions for you. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a super quick answer. Just answer them how you see fit, okay? All right, number 1, and we always take notes on this one for when we're in these different cities that we're talking to our guests from. All right, number 1, favorite place to eat in Indy?
Ooh. The Garage Food Hall.
Okay, we can get a follow-up on that. Is it like, do they have a lot of different things there?
Yeah, they have like, imagine food trucks, but like inside.
That's cool.
And so they have all different ethnic cuisine, like,
Oh, cool.
I mean, there's everything: American, Asian, Puerto Rican, Greek, everything.
Kind of like a public market.
Reading Terminal
That's
Market
what I'm getting.
in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, Kim.
Garage
Same.
Hall?
Yeah, Reading is a good time.
Garage Hall? Okay, we're going to have to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, question number 2. Something that you are watching, listening to, reading right now that you enjoy.
I actually went to the bookstore today, and I picked out a new book called The Pursuit of God by A.W. Tozer. So that's my new read.
Taking a page out of Caroline Strandy's book, no pun intended, The Reader. All right, question number 3, favorite off-day activity?
Ooh. Honestly, I like to walk like at the park or do homework if I have homework. And the clock tower at Butler is really pretty. There's a koi pond and hiking trails.
That sounds very relaxing. I think you're the first player guest that hasn't said sleeping. So good for you to be active on your off day.
Yeah. I have a follow-up on that one. On your walk, is it music or a podcast?
Music.
Okay. Question number 4. You're doing great. A talent or a skill you have outside of basketball?
Oh, geez. Sometimes I like to paint. I won't say I'm good, but just to get the creative side going.
I like it.
That's awesome. Do you have paints in your like apartment or where you live?
I do. Very bad ones.
Great. Very good.
We won't force you to show us. Don't worry.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Our 5th and final question, rapid fire. I usually ask this one earlier in the segment, but I had to push it to the end because our last guest really had to think about this one. All right. So you were going to play in a 3-on-3 tournament. You can pick any 2 teammates in the world. It can be a men's player, a women's player, a college player, a pro player. Ice has even thrown out they can be living or deceased. So you have 2 dream 3-on-3 teammates.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant and Diana
Oh,
Taurasi.
that is a killer squad.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I love that.
Okay, sniper
That is
gang.
like a
I love
high
it.
intensity team. I would not want to see that team.
Gonna be fun.
All right, Rachel, you completed in the bonus. Rapid
Yeah, just
fire.
them in their prime. Them in their prime.
You did.
You rolled through those.
Ain't no thing for you. You just full as a cucumber during that. Yeah.
I thought they were gonna be like a little tricky.
Oh, do I need to step up my game?
Oh no, Kim, did your questions need to be harder?
No, they were fine. They were great. I was very happy that I could answer them.
Whoever we interview
I'm gonna
next,
be
they're
like,
going to be
solve
way
a
harder,
Rubik's
and we're just going to
Cube
point them to
online
you, Rachel.
right now.
Rachel, thank you so much for joining us on In the Bonus. Congratulations so far on a successful season, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much.
Good luck this week versus Vandy.
Yeah, good luck, Rachel.
I absolutely love that Rachel's fiance's grandpa absolutely schooled her and like fooled her completely. She thought she was doing some respectable thing for that man, and he just started buckets on her. That's when you know you're marrying into the right family.
But it's so cute that she changed her number for him and like to honor him. It's so cool.
I absolutely love that story. That's a special one. All right, ladies. Well, we're in the thick of it right now. And there's a lot of games happening, a lot of big games kind of coming up this weekend also. Lisa, I'm going to start with you. What's a game that you've got your eyes on for this weekend?
So we touched on Creighton at the top of this episode. Ice did that one because they're in the rankings, number 22 right now. And this is their opportunity to continue to climb or stay in the top 25, especially before Big East play. So Creighton, they take on Wyoming. This is a matchup that it should be pretty good for Creighton. I mean, they're on the road at a Wyoming side that's had some ups and downs. They're 4-3 on the season. They're coming off of a pretty inconsistent loss to Oklahoma State for Wyoming. But really, like, this is a game for Creighton in which they need to be able to dominate, have a lot of consistency, play well on both sides of the ball, good defense, knock down their shots when they're giving them open plays, and really solidify themselves before they start Big East play. Because, Meg, you're exactly right. We are in the very thick of it. And after Creighton plays Wyoming on Sunday, they then take on Marquette. So another top-ranked team. So this is the last like level up moment for Creighton before they head into Big East play. And they're not starting off Big East play easy because they're going up against Marquette first. So it's the final chance for the Blue Jays to tighten all those loose ends before conference play.
I feel like that's like the best matchup in the Big East this year. And we have it in game 1. I mean, wasting no time. Marquette and Creighton. We'll be previewing that one next episode.
With that game. Yeah, shades of March with that game, baby. Love it.
And meanwhile, Marquette, they are at Illinois State this weekend. So they've get like one more final tune-up before they go up against Big East play. But it's away from home for Marquette. And they've had a lot of home games this year. Besides their tip-off tournament in Fort Myers over during Feast Week, they've played a lot at home. So to go on the road at Illinois State, although it's not a long travel, it's still a good test for them before they start Big East play. Because once you're traveling with Big East, it's the arenas that you get into, it's an entirely different beast.
Yeah, so true. Kim, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm going to point out 2 games I'm eyeing. Friday, DePaul at Miami. Interesting one because Ice knows this. She was on the call. DePaul did not fare well against Michigan State on national TV last week. So they're going to go and play a Miami team who is right now the first team outside of the rankings, and they probably just showed that they should be in the rankings because Penn State was the 25th team. And sorry to say, I know you're a Nittany Lion. They just lost to West Virginia by 20. So I personally had Miami at 25. So you're basically looking at DePaul's going to play a top 25 team on the road. And again, these are tune-ups before conference play. So that's a big one. Second one, we look at Sunday, Rhode Island coming to visit St. John's. And that may not seem like something that jumps out at you, but Rhode Island is a very sneaky good team. They just took down Princeton, who was also in the rankings, now is not. I actually had a chance to watch a Rhode Island game this year because they were playing my best friend's team, and I was really impressed. They are big. They are athletic. So they're coming into a St. John's team who, kind of like DePaul, has maybe felt a little bit of disappointed in the non-conference, losing at Monmouth. So I think this is a really important game for them. It's at home against a quality opponent who's coming in very confidently to try to get a quality win as non-conference play starts to wrap up.
Ice, what are we looking at?
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick with Rhode Island. I guess they just want a piece of the Big East. They also take on Providence. When everyone hears this, it will be tonight, Wednesday night. So I think that's a really good test for Providence. That's a nice, easy trip right across. I think there's water there, nice little river. So it's a nice little easy trip. No, seriously, there's like it's like the Providence River, right? I'm not making this up. There's a river in the middle of the city.
Don't be asking me. I have no idea.
Oh, I spent time there. So yes, there's a river. Okay. I just thought somebody else would know. Sorry. Anyway,
I'll open up my map real fast.
Yeah, I was going to say geography is not mine. So I talk basketball. And then other game of the week, really just want to hit at it again. Butler taking on Vanderbilt. I think that's going to be a really good matchup, an SEC matchup. I'm really excited to see just having them come off of that performance. Rachel Kent dropping 25, who we talked to, like just to see how they continue that momentum. But I think this is my favorite part of conference is the second half when teams have played, when they have games under their belt. And now it's like, okay, we should know our strengths and weaknesses and how can we work to make all of these things strengths. And so I'm really excited to see everybody kind of settle in and get some good wins under the belt before we hit conference, because then it's on and popping.
Yeah. And Ice, you're going to be traveling a little bit. You're on the call for a game again this week, correct? Where are we at?
I am. We're in Toledo. It'll be my first time in Toledo. I have Michigan at Toledo, so no Big East this week, but looking forward to a good game on CBS Sports on Wednesday.
Nice. I love listening to you guys call the game. You do it, Kim does it, and I love when I'm randomly watching a game and then I'm like, oh, I know that voice. I know them.
Fangirl. I fangirl big time. Ice, I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me a little pre-game ritual kind of for you when your game day, when you're calling a game.
Oh, I love that you asked this because I recently identified what it is. I always listen. Yes, I always listen to Superstar by Usher before my games. It makes me feel like I'm about to go out here and be a superstar. And I just like belt it out in the rental car on high. And like, I always sing that as I'm putting on lip gloss and pulling up. And that's kind of like my thing that gets me like, all right, it's game day. Let's get to this money.
Ooh, I absolutely love that. We might have to listen to that like right before we record or something. Like, get us going.
Are you like? I want the full thing though. Are you like waking up early, getting in a workout? Like you're gonna go to shoot around if you can.
Great question.
I want to be following. Give me a TikTok day in the morning of.
I need a little day in the life. Yes. And the simple short way, like I always fly in, I always sit somewhere for dinner, knock out the work that I have left, do a little bit of film. I actually watch regular TV. I do not do like my Netflix shows because I kind of want to go to bed early. So if I put on regular TV, it's going to snooze me. I wake up, if I have time, I go to brunch. I'm a huge brunch breakfast person. So like if there's not a shoot around till 11, like I'm at breakfast at 9 a.m. So I did that when I was in Chicago. I went to a cool place called The Oak. That's like a little brunch spot around the corner. Yeah. So I will sneak out and find brunch spots. And then game day, it's like shoot arounds, come back, get dressed. Makeup is my favorite part because I'm like, let's go. We're ready. And then I always get to the court and I'm just like, high energy. Like it's the best part of the whole trip is like literally the game. Like I'm not saying it because it's what I get paid to do. Like it's just everything leading up to that is like preparation. Exactly. And then game time. Like let's make this money. So I love it.
Love it. Cue Usher
in the car on the way.
And also, cue my rap, because I think this is a successful pod. We're going to put a bow on it. We're going to wrap this one, and I'm going to go through our long list of podcast platforms for us, right? Are we ready for it? Another one in the books, ladies. So be sure to subscribe to In the Bonus by the Big East Conference on your preferred podcast listening platforms, such as, here we go, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, Deezer, TuneIn, Radio Public, Pandora, Overcast, Odyssey, Samsung Podcast, Pocket Cast, Player FM, Simplecast, Apple Podcast, as well as the Big East Conference YouTube page. And make sure to like, share, and review. You can also visit bigeast.com for more conference news and information. We'll see you next week for another episode of In the Bonus.
Time to throw this out.
Oh, guys, that was awesome. Good stuff.
Oh, wow, it's hilarious. Good job, guys.